Revealed, Mujtaba's anti-American mission may now be taking shape after Trump's seizure of an Iranian-flagged ship pushed tensions on the maritime front even higher. Trump's hijack move could yet backfire on the US military, as Tehran hardens its rhetoric, delays rather than drops retaliation, and warns that the blockade is poisoning diplomacy. Mujtaba's camp appears increasingly ready to challenge the US military rather than return to talks, especially with Iran still signaling deep uncertainty about joining the next round in Pakistan. We have no plan for the next round of negotiations. Iran's IRGC said on April 20th that it had postponed an operation against what it called the American aggressors, signaling that retaliation was being delayed rather than dropped. The IRGC said it made that decision in order to protect the families and crew aboard the hijacked vessel now in US custody. The announcement came after the United States seized the Iran-flagged ship Touska on April 19th during the maritime blockade escalation. Spokesman for the Khatim al-Anbiya headquarters said, and I quote, "Due to the preservation of the lives of the Iranian ship crew's families, the operation against the American aggressors was postponed." Following the blatant aggression of American terrorist commandos against an Iranian commercial ship in the waters of the Sea of Oman, the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran were prepared for decisive confrontation with the invading American forces. However, due to the presence of some families of the crew of the aforementioned ship, and to preserve their lives and safety which were in danger at every moment, they faced limitations. Given the existing conditions, after ensuring the safety of the families and the crew of the ship attacked by the US, the powerful armed forces of Islamic Iran will take the necessary action against the terrorist US Army. Unquote. The US military released a new video overnight on April 19th to 20th, showing the seizure of the Iranian-flagged ship Touska during the maritime standoff. The vessel, identified as the Iran-flagged Touska, was seized on April 19th amid the wider US blockade of Iranian ports and shipping routes. The guided missile destroyer USS Spruance disabled the ship's propulsion after the crew failed to comply with repeated warnings, according to US Central Command. US forces fired several rounds from the destroyer's 5-inch 45 Malawian Quachars gun into the Touska's engine room, after which Marines boarded the vessel and took it into American custody. US Central Command said, and I quote, "US Marines depart amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli, LHA-7, by helicopter and transit over the Arabian Sea to board and seize MV Touska." The Marines rappelled onto the Iranian-flagged vessel, April 19th, after guided missile destroyer USS Spruance, DDG-111, disabled Touska's propulsion when the commercial ship failed to comply with repeated warnings from US forces over a 6-hour period. President Donald Trump announced that the US military carried out the seizure of the Iranian vessel on April 19th. The US military also released footage showing Navy fire hitting the cargo ship while it was out at sea. According to reports, a US missile destroyer intercepted the ship as it allegedly attempted to head toward Iran. The Iran-flagged vessel was said to be traveling toward Bandar Abbas port when it was stopped, according to the US military. US officials say the ship ignored communications for more than 6 hours, which led forces to take action. The destroyer then reportedly ordered the crew to evacuate the engine room before opening fire to disable the vessel. Several shells from the warship's 5-inch Mk-45 gun struck the engine area, leaving the ship immobilized in the water. US troops later boarded the Iranian vessel and took control without meeting any further resistance. The ship is now in US custody following the operation, according to US Central Command. US officials say the vessel was taken into custody after it allegedly tried to break a US blockade on Iranian ports. Iran has strongly condemned the operation as armed piracy and theft, and has vowed retaliation over what it calls a violation of the truce. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "Today, an Iranian-flagged cargo ship named Touska, nearly 900 feet long and weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade, and it did not go well for them." The US Navy guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Touska in the Gulf of Oman, and gave it a fair warning to stop. The Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engineer room. Right now, US Marines have custody of the vessel. The Touska is under US Treasury sanctions because of its prior history of illegal activity. We have full custody of the ship, and are seeing what's on board. In response, Iranian media said drone attacks were launched targeting US warships operating nearby. Iranian officials described the strikes as direct retaliation for what they called a US act of aggression. Iran strongly condemned the incident and warned that further retaliation against the US would follow. Ibrahim Zolfagari said, and I quote, "The aggressor United States violated the ceasefire and committed maritime piracy by firing at an Iranian merchant ship in the waters of the Sea of Oman and landing a number of its terrorist marines on the deck of the vessel, disabling its navigation system. We warn that the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will soon respond to this armed piracy and retaliation by the US Army," unquote. The operation comes at a time of fragile ceasefire and growing uncertainty over ongoing diplomatic efforts. The US action also came just 2 days before the 2-week ceasefire with Iran was due to end. Meanwhile, Iran says it has no plans yet to attend the next round of talks in Pakistan. As of now, as I'm speaking to you, we have no plan for the next round of negotiations. No decision has been taken in this regard. Iran still appears uncertain about whether it will join talks even after Trump dispatched a delegation to Pakistan in an effort to revive diplomacy. Pakistan, however, is reportedly prepared to host a second round of US-Iran peace talks on April 21st if Tehran ultimately agrees to attend.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.